Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's that time of year where we have tons of noobs in the gym, tons of noobs looking for information, and I want to chat with you guys a little bit about understanding the fact that your lower body training and the muscle in your lower body is more important for your fitness than your upper body. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on scaling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this, and we'll get into the science of this a little bit. But this is stuff a lot of people don't think about because you'll see, especially guys, a lot of women get this. Women get this. You can get women to squat. Like, that's the easiest demographic of people to get squatting, and they should be squatting. Squat is probably the best exercise out there for women. Amazing exercise. Does a lot for them. And it's not just for their appearance, it does a lot for their health. So it's hard to get guys in there. A lot of guys, they might have a leg day once a week, but they'll focus on the upper body. And believe me, guys, I do a lot of upper body training. I mean, I am a strength athlete. So obviously I care about upper body strength. Obviously I do the big lifts for the upper body. I do tons of weighted pull-ups, dips, bench press, overhead pressing. I do all these things. I do a ton of it. But if we're going to talk about fitness, health, athleticism, everything else, your lower body actually matters more. So as far as the actual time you put into the gym, if you're looking for long-term health outcomes, your lower body matters the most, and it affects metabolic things. We'll talk about fat loss also in a minute. Of basically, leg training will let you eat a lot more food while still losing fat. And I can assure you, none of you out there who struggle with fat loss, as myself included, don't want to be able to eat more food while losing the same amount of fat. And we'll get in a minute to like what my actual maintenance calories look like. A lot of people would be surprised, for me, a guy in my 40s, of how much food I eat and still lose weight. It would shock a lot of people who aren't up to speed on that. It has everything to do with my lower body mass. That's everything to do with it. So when you start looking at health benefits, metabolic benefits, what you need to think about is the fact that your leg muscle is more important for your day-to-day activities in terms of effect it has on your body. In other words, the hormonal effect, the blood sugar, insulin levels, all of these different things that people talk about, your legs affect this stuff more than your upper body. And I'm not saying upper body doesn't matter. I mean, having a strong upper body has a ton of benefits. And, you know, for you guys who want to look big, obviously having a strong upper body will make you look more jacked. It's going to make you look thicker, more muscular. That's a given. It's a given. But it doesn't carry as many health benefits. And for a lot of women who are scared of getting a really jacked upper body, I understand that. And I know a lot of people are going to say, but Jason, without steroids, women won't have those problems. For us as lifters, we see a woman who competes in powerlifting completely drug-free, right? And we're like, she still looks really feminine. She doesn't have that look. But to a lot of people in the general population, she might be too muscular in the upper body. They might consider a 115-pound female powerlifter to look manly. So you need to understand perspective there. Are we talking about the fitness world, or are we talking about the general population? In the fitness world, we can appreciate a woman with a little bit of muscle in her upper body. As long as it's not steroid levels, most of us we're cool with that. General population, not always so much, but they love muscular legs on a woman. They like a woman with nice calves, nice hamstrings, nice glutes. You know, people appreciate that. They appreciate that, even if it's more disproportionately developed to her upper body that they think is manly. Still appreciate that. But on to the point, for men, yeah, there's an aesthetic benefit to the upper body more so than the legs to some extent. But when we're talking about health, it matters. When we're talking about controlling things like diabetes, lowering cancer rates, lowering osteoporosis, how about staving out Alzheimer's, dementia, retaining memory as we get older? Leg muscle matters the most. You start looking at the studies on Alzheimer's and dementia, and what do they find? Leg strength is most correlated with lower rates of dementia, Alzheimer's, better memory, and everything for people over 60. So developing strong legs when you're younger will carry over into higher quality of life when we're older. You know, a lot of people, they'll say things like, well, I don't want to get involved in this whole health and fitness thing because I don't want to have low quality of life. I want to enjoy my life. And it's like, well, what I'm telling you is that training your legs will help you enjoy your life more as you get older. It's not just about longevity. It's about, hey, will my extra leg muscle and extra leg strength let me have lower diabetes rates, better memory, feel better, not get cancer? I mean, not getting cancer is really, really good for enjoying your life. Because I can tell you what will give you a bummer. I can tell you what will make you feel like you don't have a great life: getting cancer, getting diabetes and having to inject insulin all the time while you monitor what you eat. Bad enough you're going to have to monitor what you eat, but then you're going to have to inject insulin and stuff. I mean, that's not quality of life. But being able to do that and being able to eat more food that you enjoy because your energy turnover is better, your insulin sensitivity is better because you do train your legs hard, that will improve your quality of life. That will allow you to enjoy more delicious food without the same health concerns. It's going to give you a bigger buffer. It will improve your quality of life in many, many, many ways. But when we're talking about staving off these illnesses, it matters the most. What's going to affect things like your diabetes and insulin sensitivity, which also conversely affects cancer rates. Your legs matter more because you're using them more. You're up walking. You're up walking, you have better metabolic benefits. And this accounts for like half of the muscle in your body. So then we get over to the other thing, and let's talk about weight loss. Let's talk about body fat. Let's talk about you guys who want to cut up later. You guys not understand that having strong legs and your leg training itself burns more calories? All right, well, let that sink in for a moment. If you're carrying an extra 8, 9, 10 pounds of muscle because you have trained your legs off for several years, do you know how much more food you can eat while still cutting up later? And so even for you guys who are like, well, I want to get real lean, I want to get jacked, I want a six-pack. I don't know, man. Wouldn't you like to be able to get your six-pack while eating an extra 400 or 500 calories more? Right? That's appealing. Because do you really want to be that restricted all the time in what you eat? Leg training matters. And I mean, for example, I do a lot of squatting. You guys have seen earlier this year what I lift. I was squatting 485 to depth with a barbell every day earlier this year. Then I started cutting. I dropped like 40 pounds of body weight. I've been cutting down. I'm going to drop another 20. I'm in my 40s. I'm 42 years old. I lose a pound a week while eating over 3,000 calories a day. All right, so go back and do the math on that. What is usually considered to be the recommendation for a fairly sedentary adult male? 2,000 calories. All right, I eat 3,000 or more every day, and I lose a pound a week on that. That means that's not enough to sustain my body weight. I don't do any cardio with that. That's just from weight training 3 days a week. I lift for 3 days a week, and I walk my dog twice a day on the off days. I don't have a busy job. I work from home. That's what I burn, and it's largely due to the amount of muscle in my legs. And if you go look at my DEXA scans, I have like 30 pounds of muscle in each of my legs. It's been scanned on my body, on my scans. It's a lot of lean mass in each leg. That burns so many calories, just me getting up, walking my dog, doing other stuff, my day-to-day activities. It lets me eat an enormous amount of food. All right, that is a serious advantage for those of you who are looking for fat loss. And you need to think about that in terms of what is that going to do for energy turnover. If you go do several sets of fairly heavy squats, and heavy being relative, heavy for you might be 95 pounds. You know, heavy for me is a lot more than that. But heavy for you might be 95 pounds. You need to think about the afterburn effects you get from doing that training session. Let's say you do come in and you do squat 3 days a week. Instead of just having a leg day, you come in and you squat 3 days a week. Think about the caloric expenditure that affects afterwards, your downtime. Think about the muscle building involved with what that uses in terms of calories. Think about what that uses later on once you've built the muscle in terms of just getting up and walking around in your day-to-day activities. It lets you burn a lot more calories. It lets you burn more food. For those of you who want to be able to treat yourself or not be hungry all the time, all right, that is a real advantage. And then particularly when you do cardio and stuff like that later, when you have a lot of leg muscle because you have strong legs and your work capacity is high, as a result of that, you burn through energy. You burn through the food you eat like a furnace. It makes an enormous difference. So for you guys who are standing there chasing that whole look like you want to get lean and a six-pack and all that, think about it in terms of what that will contribute, the leg training, doing squats, doing deadlifts, things like that. Think about what that will contribute in terms to the amount of food that you'll still be able to eat while losing that body fat later when you choose to diet down, or even when you're in the middle of dieting, right? Because even if you're creating an anabolic stimulus in your legs, you do know that you will lose more fat on the same calories as a result of that because you're giving a stimulus that's making your body hold on to and try to build leg muscle on the same amount of food. That is going to take more energy off of your body fat. All right, there's a definite nutrient partitioning advantage there. So when you start looking at all the benefits involved, people need to understand, yes, there's a lot of benefits to upper body training, particularly for guys and aesthetic benefits, absolutely. But your leg training is going to affect your health, your fitness, your athleticism, your calorie burn, everything a hell of a lot more than your upper body training will. In the ideal world, you should probably give equal time to both of them, right? You need to take both of them equally seriously. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.